So why do you think women should get into real estate, like single women? Like buy real estate?
Well, I think that, now the conversation's more open. I think women are starting to become more empowered in their real estate ventures, but like we all grew up being told like, oh, you buy a house once you get married. But I think women should get involved in real estate just like men should get involved in real estate. I think everyone should get involved in real estate. But women need to stop thinking in that like, oh, I need a partner to do this, and maybe switch the avenue of their thinking. And maybe you do because you're just starting out in your career, need a partner, but that partner doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It can be your best friend, your cousin, your, somebody else.
Under all is the land, real estate. Courtney and friends about to show you how to generate wealth. Get educated, do for yourself. Add a couple notches to your belt. Under all is the land. Under all is the land. The real under all is the land. Under all is the land. The real estate. Coming to you live from ACME Real Estate in Los Angeles, California.
Welcome to Under All is the Land, Season 3, Episode 9. I am your host, Courtney Poulos, here with my rockstar co-stars, Silke Fernald.
Hello.
And Dominique Madden.
Hi.
How's it going, guys?
It's going.
It's definitely going.
What's happening? How is your world reacting to the Fed meeting that happened a couple days ago?
I honestly haven't heard much conversation about it at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
I have no one bringing it up to me.
Interesting.
No.
Do you?
Nobody's bringing it up, but I've gotten conflicting messages from lenders regarding the impact on the rates. So I'm getting some messages saying the rates went down and some messages saying the rates went up. So I'm not really sure what's going on. I need to make a few phone calls probably. But I will say on like some of the listings that the showings have slowed down. Like there's like a lull all of a sudden. So I wonder if it's this financial uncertainty finding its way.
That's true.
But then, I talked to other ACME agents who have listings in like Northeast LA and they're just like, still it's on fire. So
I can tell you as someone who's competing on listings across like Northeast LA and in South LA, it seems crazy all around, just dependent on how you price. Like, like I just competed on one in Baldwin Hills. Clearly underpriced, though not substantially. I wouldn't say it was crazy underpriced, but definitely underpriced for what it was. And they had 13 offers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 13 offers. But not a flip. It was
what was the price point?
It was a fixer. $999.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's probably the price point. Cause
it wasn't a fixer though. It's like you could move into it, but it had carpet in places.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the carpet was clean.
So like a cosmetic fixer.
Yeah, but if you tear up the carpet, there are beautiful floors. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But
something that needs work. No, I mean, I just had one too that was only on the market for 9 days and we had 5 offers. But we were also competitively priced. Yeah. And then we have the other listings that are
all of my priced. Listings that are like a little bit more quiet right now are the ones that are on the higher end.
Yep.
But to be fair, they're like higher quality product, So I don't know. Well, I guess we just kind of wait and see.
Yeah.
Like the rest of America.
Yeah.
Well, today we are talking about home ownership as a path to financial stability and financial independence, which, as you know, is a love affair of mine and something that I feel like I can speak on because I didn't really have any financial training growing up and didn't really understand how money worked and how houses worked and leveraging and income properties and investments and all that stuff. But when I did start figuring it out, I wrote Break Up With Your Rental, which I know you guys have both read. Mm-hmm. If you guys out there haven't read Break Up With Your Rental, you need to read Break Up With Your Rental. It's a very simple to understand book, but it kind of showcases all the different ways to not make excuses for yourself and get in the market and utilize the opportunities the real estate market has and your talents to be able to make your money make money in a real way. So our guest today is a past client of mine who actually produced my TV show on FYI called My City's Just Not That Into Me, and one of my favorite people in the whole entire world, and a success story from Break Up With Your Rental, Jessica Bertulis.
Ooh.
It's so good to see you and have you here at Under All Is the Land.
Thank you for having me.
If you guys don't know, Jessica makes magic behind the scenes at many reality television shows that you know and love. She was in the publishing world, right? Before you got into reality television, into television. You've been in LA for 20 years. When I met her, she was renting an apartment. Now she is a homeowner.
Yes.
Some of the reality shows that she's worked on include Toddlers and Tiaras.
Yep.
And you are famous for that one because you discovered the special talents of...
I didn't discover them. I gave them TV birth. Like, yes, Honey Boo Boo and Mama June and that whole crew. Yeah.
She's responsible for that.
Yeah, I was their first producer.
I'm curious, what do you think about all the things that have been going on with Honey Boo Boo lately?
I mean, I always say, like, let your freak flag fly and just be you and do your thing. And, I'm here to just document these things along the way and tell stories and different cultures and different worlds. And I think that's what is fun about what I get to do is I get to go into all these different worlds and subcultures and meet people like Courtney along the way who change your life forever.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, she does that actually.
Do you remember how we met?
Yeah. Do
we
you
tell
remember
that
how we met?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Go
I
for
had
it.
a Better Shelter listing in Studio City that was across from the park. Do you remember that one? It had like a shared driveway. And I got a phone call. I mean, it was like a rare Studio City Better Shelter listing. And I got a phone call. This was the first meeting, right? Yeah. That somebody wanted to use the house for a shot for a show. What show was that? VH1? It was a VH1 show. It was a fiancés maybe. And they were house shopping maybe.
Yep.
And I hosted did the tour and da.
She was our on-camera real estate agent.
Yes.
Ooh.
For some VH1 show. And then a few weeks later I got a call, maybe a few weeks, maybe it was months, a few months later probably.
Well, I was obsessed with Courtney immediately. I was like, she's really good on camera. And I was like, and you kind of look like Madonna. And I was like, she had this fun, short, funky hair at the time. And I was like, she's such an,
whole package.
She's
thing.
It's a whole package.
So I was really drawn to her initially. So then,
well, thank you. So then, I think you had nothing. I don't know if you had anything to do with my city, but I got a call a few months later saying they wanted to do a screen test for me for a show that already had gotten sold, and then come to find out that Jessica was doing the show running on that one, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So we ended up working
basically,
together.
I jumped in on it, and they had a few people in the mix as possible hosts.
I beat out a bachelorette.
And I was like, actually, you guys should meet Courtney. And that's when I sent your information to Melissa, the owner of the company. And then she ended up bringing you in, doing an interview. And then Courtney ended up nailing the job.
Yeah, I did. I mean, the show was so fun because I got to hang out with you. And we traveled around the country, meeting people who had some interesting stories, to be honest, and they were considering living in other places, and we had that whole conversation, but got a little muddy with the production versus network thing, which is like a thing that happens in
show
TV,
was
right?
really cool. I think it was a little ahead of its time, though. I think people weren't quite there yet, and I think that network was figuring out what it was, and it wasn't. It ended up not going in that direction.
Yeah, it went like a glorified House Hunters direction, which it should have gone in a more stories. In my opinion, like a lot of stuff
more
got left on
lifestyle, I think would have been
the cutting room floor.
better.
There were some good moments.
Oh yeah, always.
There were
That's
some
always
fun
it in
moments.
production.
Well, my favorite moments was when I asked, her name is Nicole, she was a lawyer, we were in DC, and I'm like, why don't you own? She's like, well, I'm waiting to meet a guy, and she's paying like $7,000 a month in rent or something, like,
something
what?
crazy for a 1-bedroom.
Yeah,
we were like,
crazy. And she said, if I go out with the guy and I don't like him, like on the first date, then I'll never go out with him again. And I'm like, how's that working out for you?
Yeah.
I have no idea what her life looks like now, by the way, but it was part of that, and the conversations with you about you getting out of that apartment are what inspired breakup with your rental.
Yes.
So
yes.
Jessica was there for that whole thing.
Yeah. Well, because I think working with you, obviously, like, you have such a different mindset about real estate than I ever had. And growing up in a Midwestern, blue collar family, it was you're kind of told this is what you're supposed to do. This is how you do it, X, Y, Z. No one was like, you know what? You're in your 20s, you're making good money, go buy a house. Like, that was never even on my radar. No one teaches you that.
Right.
And so Courtney was like, why are you renting? Why are you renting? And I thought, like, I was very stubborn.
You were.
Very stubborn. But I was like, I have a rent-controlled apartment in the Hollywood Hills, and it's amazing, and I'm traveling the world, and I'm doing all these cool things, and I don't have to even think about anything because I can pay my rent, like sneeze and pay my rent, and it's no big deal. And then you would always be like, but what are you getting out of it?
Right. I mean,
what are you getting out of this rent? You're paying somebody else's mortgage. And then she just kept beating my thick skull with this information in different ways. And then finally it sunk in, and I was like, really, what is this doing for me in my
and
future?
so you did end up buying a house. So she ended up buying a house, and
2
the
years
house
later.
has appreciated pretty dramatically. How much do you think it's appreciated
almost double
in value? In like 4 years?
6.
6 years.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, so I bought 6 years ago, and after we worked together, it took me about 2 years to like really get into a house. But I think when you change your mindset about things and you shift your perspective about it, like that's all I had to do was change my thinking about it and go, you know what? No, I actually can own a house. It's not going to be in Beechwood Canyon where I'm currently living. And that was the thing. I was such a little Hollywood bitch. I was like, I'm never leaving my neighborhood. This is the best neighborhood ever. I can walk everywhere. I have parking. My rent's $1,000 a month. Oh, I'm never leaving here. And then I start thinking about it, and I'm like, that's kind of depressing. Like, maybe I should start thinking outside the box a little.
It does something to you, right? Owning a house. How do you feel like it's changed your mental?
Well, okay, so going back to the Hollywood thing and not like hunkering down, and I think people do this a lot in LA and bigger cities. It's like you fall in love with your neighborhood and the lifestyle you think that neighborhood's providing for you. So I know a lot of beach people are like that. All my beach friends are like, no, I'm never buying a house because I'm living by the beach and I'm blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, and the way you broke me down with that argument was you're like, okay, cool. Well, you can move from Hollywood, go live somewhere for 2 or 3 years, and then you're going to build equity in your house that you own, and you can go back and you'll have equity to go buy your house that you want in the hills, which I could go do now. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to.
Right.
Because you introduced me to a neighborhood that I love, now I'm not a Hollywood bitch.
Always at heart. You'll always be one deep down.
Yeah. Now I'm like, yeah, I love my neighborhood. I would never leave it. I'm right by downtown and I have a whole new lifestyle, and then I realized I can get anywhere in the city quicker than I could have ever gotten from Hollywood. So it just opened up my whole perspective. And it was, of course, you again going, why don't you look at this neighborhood? Why don't you look at this area and expand your, thoughts about it and stop being so stubborn again? And so,
well, I'm flattered, but you weren't as bad as you're making it sound. You were like, okay.
I feel like I'm like the person that you need to like bang over the head with a bat.
I mean, listen, you were stubborn about renting. You seem to be really committed to renting. Do you guys have clients like that? They seem to be committed to renting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like they dance with the idea, but they never really commit to the process. I have clients who really want to just look. They just seem addicted to searching. They don't write winning offers. They just love hunting. They just don't really want to make the commitment to buying.
You get scared.
Yeah.
You get scared because you're like, this is the world I know. This is the world I'm comfortable with. This is like, I know I can do this. And then this is where I think I'm a big firm believer in like law of attraction and all of like expansive mindset or whatever. And buying a home really like opened that up for me in a way that I never even imagined possible. And it was by starting to open up my mentality about it and going like, okay, well, you know what? You got to take the risk. You got to jump in. You got to try something new. And, once you set the intention, everything starts to kind of work in your direction to help you get there.
Yeah, that's another thing we tell our clients all the time. It's like, you can be afraid about this, but you'll realize you're going to be able to pay your mortgage just like you paid your rent. And now with an extra week or week and a half to do it without it being late, and it will be fine. Like, you can handle all of this. It's all
amazing
handleable.
how everything just shifts. And like, my lifestyle didn't change that much either at all. Actually, it didn't change. Let me say that again. My lifestyle did not change at all after I bought a house.
Right.
Because I was able to still go do all the things I wanted to do. Go have the dinners, go have the drinks,
Buy
go
Madonna
travel,
tickets.
buy Madonna tickets, like do all the things that I like was like, I don't want to sacrifice my life for a house.
Right.
And so, and you know, then you start making more money at work and like things start opening up because you've expanded your space. And I'm really into Feng Shui as well, but like when you have a space that's yours and like putting it together and cultivating that and like thoughtfully every day, like putting your intention into something that's yours that feels good and upgrading it. It's like, I mean, I can't, it's like next level
These
shit.
are the non-quantifiable benefits of owning real estate. Like you get to feel to like, this is mine, you know? So
there's no like,
like I can make this special. I can change it if I want. I can move things around. I can do a whole revamp. I can, whatever. It has creative possibilities.
on so many levels. And honestly, I've inspired so many of my friends, like close friends, colleagues, people that I work with, whatever, to buy houses as well. Because again, nobody's telling you these things. And like, you can get creative about how you do it too. And I think one of the biggest things I would have changed, like one of the questions was like, what would you do differently? What I would do differently is I would have bought in my 20s.
Right, way sooner.
But I would have bought with a friend. So I would have like linked up with a best friend and bought a property together in my 20s and just started that way. And then, and I'm telling all my younger friends that are in their 20s.
Yep, bye now.
Get with your friends. Like, even if you do 2 or 3 friends, whatever you have to do, buy collectively. Buy a 3-bedroom house with 3 people. Like, and then keep it. And then if you want to move on with your life, because I think people start getting like, oh, I'm going to get married and then I'm going to do this and da, 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 da. It's like, don't even think about that. Think about right now, what's my best financial decision for me and my future. And that's how I would have shifted myself now if I went back in it. But I wouldn't change it.
So you would have taken my advice 2 years sooner.
I would have taken your advice. Yeah, exactly. I
charge interest on those 2 years. Okay, so I have a very important, pressing, timely question to ask you. What are your favorite reality real estate television shows right now?
Well,
are you watching any?
I mean,
up to speed?
One of my good friends is the DP of Selling Sunset, so I have to say that one.
Are you watching it?
No,
but you're not watching it, so you can't say that one. It does not count, guys. That doesn't count. Are you? Do you watch reality television? Oh my God!
I make it.
Okay,
I have time to watch it.
I don't watch real estate reality TV either very much. I much prefer the 90 Day Fiance and goofy dating shows.
I'm with you on the I like a little sloppy drama.
Yeah, sloppy drama is good. I can't watch What I Live either.
Exactly.
It's sort of, even though it's some weird version.
I sit there and start picking everything apart, and I'm like, oh, I get a little too critical, and it's hard for me to be in the moment. So I do a lot of scripted stuff.
What show are you working on right now?
I'm working on a show that hasn't been announced yet.
Okay, gotcha. What did you just finish?
I just finished. Well, I just did the Oscars.
Did the Oscars? You've been doing that for a long time. What do you do with that?
13 years. I work with the Academy's publicity team and the media, and so it's not a production job really.
Okay.
But
who's your favorite famous person you've ever met?
Oh gosh, I mean,
besides me. Just kidding.
Courtney, of course.
Just kidding.
Do you meet all of them?
What's that?
When the Oscars are, do you meet all of them?
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of in this
sort of
vortex, right? Of energy, and people are coming and going, and you'll different assignments and things where you cross paths with people, and it's just a wild experience.
Did you have any weird experience where you spilled a drink on somebody or accidentally tripped over Clint Eastwood or something?
No,
I don't know.
Thankfully.
That's
fell into Brad Pitt's lap. How did that happen?
Have you ever been hit on by a celebrity? Give us some scoop. I want scoop.
I don't know what I'm allowed to say.
What do you mean allowed to? Did you sign an NDA?
We always do.
Regarding what?
Everything. I mean, we always
every single thing.
When you're
everything in my life.
Everybody it's everything's locked down.
I think you can say if you tripped over somebody's foot.
I haven't done that. I'm so perfect all the time. No, I did have a cool run-in with Lady Gaga one year, and it was the year she had that beautiful Tiffany diamond that Audrey Hepburn had worn. And, you know, she was just absolutely lovely. And, you know, when you see somebody on camera or you know, whatever, there's a certain energy you get from them. But when you meet them in person, it's so different. And, like, she's
real.
lovely. Yeah.
I met her before, too. Nicos and I were at Sunset Marquee, where I used to be a pool member, and I got pissed because there was a dog in the pool. And I'm like, I don't pay, like, money to come here because, you know, they have people with their dogs in the pool. And the waiter's like, it's Lady Gaga's dog. And I was like,
Oh, her dog can be in the pool.
okay, well, I guess
Oh, let me get this little guy over.
No. I did not hang out with the dog. No. But then Nicos, I don't remember. Nicos, I think, pet the dog. Nicos was like 6 or something. And it was when she was building a house, and so she was staying at the villas or something like that. And so anyway, she just talked to us for a little while and sat with us and let Nicos pet the dog and stuff. And she was really down to earth and super nice.
I always find that your hair is caught in your mic.
Your mama.
Can I fix it for you?
Are you fixing my crown?
Yeah, I'm
Thank
have to.
you.
Sorry, the producer and me.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's just what it is.
Watching her work.
I can't help myself.
Okay, if I were producing you for the show, I would say, okay, do that again, but give me more energy. I need juicier stories.
Yeah.
Okay? Give the people what they want now.
Give them some juice.
Yeah, give
Yeah,
them some juice.
some
We need
celebrity
juice.
gossip. This
Some
is turning
juice.
into quite a different show.
Well, what do you want it to be?
But you meet these different people, and I always find that the higher level celebrities tend to be the more
Conservative.
down to earth.
Oh, down to earth. Interesting.
They're just more like they're like they've hit a stride in life, and they have an energy going for them, and they've got their like whatever law of attraction down, and they know how to create, and like they're good. They're like cruising
They're
through
chill.
life,
Nothing
and
more to
like
prove.
the doors are all opening for them, and they're like, oh, I want to do this, and then it opens up, you know. And so they're always great, like amazing. It's the ones when you got down in like the CD category, you know, where it's like
Diva
they're
behavior.
still trying to like find that path, and they're struggling and they're scrapping for it. And so there's like a different, like usually they come from a more insecure place, and they haven't found that stride of like flowing with life.
I think
yet.
the same thing is true in real estate, actually. Like, I think there are agents who I always say are doing too much. They're like deal killing agents. They're the ones who walk through and like try to be the main attraction instead of letting the client's instincts drive the transaction or support. They try to be the driving part of the transaction, take the stage, you know?
yeah.
And that always seems like young agent energy to me.
Yeah.
That old agents who have been through the ringer before are just like much more chill.
Yeah,
They're like,
exactly.
nothing really rocks our boat too
Yeah.
much.
Well, and you feel that too. I think when you go, I go look at like open houses all the time because I just like.
You're an addict?
I am. I love it. But you can tell like when you walk in and like the agent comes up and they're like super aggressive and they like are like trying to get your phone number, and you're like, I'm literally like, I live right over there. I have a house. Like, I'm just rolling in here to see what's going on. And I've got a bunch of friends looking for houses, so I'll pass your info on, you know? But it's like that aggressive, like.
It's like dating.
It is. It really is. I mean, that's what.
Yep.
Yeah, we talk about that.
That's the book.
Yeah.
You're just a little bit more chill, and then people think, what's happening there? She's so not interested.
Exactly. Play hard to get, and you'll get so much further. That's my advice to the
People.
the new agents of the
people.
world.
Play hard to get. Okay. Well, I think that we kind of at ACME we strike a balance because there is something to engaging with people at open houses, not so aggressively that they are put off by you. But, we do have something valuable to offer, and a lot of people who walk into open houses don't know anything about the process, about the market, about real estate, about transactions forms, what they're supposed to do, how much money they need. Did they get qualified by a lender yet? Maybe not. Why are you walking into an open house if you haven't spoken with a lender yet? So we can solve all those problems. It's annoying to me when I'm on the listing side and I meet a buyer who walks in the open house and is like, no, I'm not going to sign in, or I don't feel like it, or whatever. I'm like, no.
That would
This
probably
is
be
my
me.
party. You're gonna sign in or go. I make the rules here, out of respect too. Because if something happens at the house and we need a witness list, God forbid, or something, I definitely want there to be accountability.
Well, and I think that's the value in having an agent that knows what they're doing. And like, I think that's another thing that I tell a lot of people is like, understanding the value of your real estate agent. And that it's not just my cousin's best friend's mom just became a real estate agent, so I'm going to use her.
Right.
No, don't use her, because she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing yet.
Right.
Use somebody who has been through the ringer or has a team of advisors who have been through the ringer. Because my story was crazy. What happened?
Your story was crazy.
Do you
know this story?
What happened? Tell us the story.
So the offer, we put an offer in on the house, and the agent came, we put it in writing, escrow, all the things, right? We put in the amount, all the things what we were offering.
We wrote an offer.
Over 20, we
That's
did
what
25 over.
So we call that.
We did 25 over. Anyways, and I was out of town when that happened. And so Nick actually went to the house and took a video of it. And because the listing photos were horrible. I don't know if you remember, but there were no interior photos.
Ah, okay.
It was awful. And it was like, so it was like, kind of like, I guess we'll check this one out because I've like exhausted every house in this area. And this is the only one I haven't seen. And maybe, you never know. So Nick went and took the video and sent it. And we ended up making an offer before even going to see it from the video because it was so good.
Right.
And we're like, oh my God, yes. So anyways, so then the real estate agent was like, well, come see it and then we'll, move on from there. So then we went to go look at it and it was perfect. Everything was great. We were like, some bad paint colors, we can change all of that. This is easy breezy, which Courtney also taught me, like good bones are everything. And then you can just change what you need to make it yours. And so I was able to see the potential of it. And I think that's really important too. Is people understanding, like, just because it doesn't look picture ready, or if it's not a flip or whatever, like that to me, that's the gold, is when you can find a space that hasn't been flipped and do it yourself and as you go and like make it what you want it to be. That was perfect for me, and I was up for that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then they ended up, such a weird story. Like, how does this even happen?
I can take it from here.
Okay.
So basically, the agent said, you got the deal. And I was like, great, send me over the contract. And he didn't send it over. And he said, oh, I just dropped it in my in-house escrows box. They gave me an escrow number and everything. They'll send you a copy of it tomorrow. That drives me nuts whenever agents send the completed offer to escrow before they send it to me. Because technically, our clients are supposed to have the contract. But the fact that the contract exists with the seller and the buyer's signature on it, with two sets of signatures on it, means there is a contract. And it's been delivered to escrow. So anyway, when he didn't send it to me, I said, send me an email telling me that you've accepted our offer, the escrow number, and that it's going to be, opened tomorrow, whatever. So we did. So I'm like, I don't have the contract yet, but it exists. So we got it. Next day, I don't get any contract from him. It's like midday. I call the agent. I'm like, yo, where's the contract? And he's like, oh, sorry. Remember I was telling you there was this other couple that was pursuing the property? Well, they went over to the property and they dropped an offer for 10 grand more than your clients offered. And the sellers want to take that offer. And I was like, no, we have a signed contract. And it exists with buyer and seller signature on it, and escrow has a copy of it. So you can't, and I have an email, which is like written, acceptance. And so ultimately had to get the attorneys involved. And you guys were buying with a VA loan because your partner at the time is a veteran. And so, so basically they were saying the reason why they wanted to go with the other offer is because it had a higher down payment, because with VA loans, you don't have to have a down payment. But the laws are very favorable to non-discrimination against FHA and VA loans for their down payment minimums. So anyway, needless to say, our attorneys did their job and we ended up with the house. But it was
Which
like
was
one
very
of those
stressful.
act fast moments.
It was, but
Yeah, it
that's
was like,
where the
"Ay,
value
ay."
of your agent comes in, because a new agent wouldn't have known how to handle that, because that's not a situation that
A new
happens
agent would have said,
typically.
"Oh, I'm so sorry, Jessica, we got outbid,"
Exactly.
and would have been that
And
would have
Courtney
been it.
was like full pit bull
Yeah,
mode,
like-
like,
Yeah.
oh no way, we're going. She's like, called my lawyer and like went for it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that like. She paid for every dollar of whatever she made off of that property, and then I will send you everyone I know, because that was such a like huge moment, you know, of you
doing the thing.
showing up, paying attention, like
Yeah.
not fucking around. And
Yeah.
that's like what you do, and all of your people, like
Yeah.
all of you guys are that way. And I know like you understand it's a competitive market. You need to be smart. You need to make your moves fast, and you need to know how to make the moves. And there's so much strategy involved if you're smart to this market, and you can get a house. And when you have a good team leading you to
Yeah.
that house, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get a house eventually.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be the perfect one for you. And it's like dating again, you know, it's like you eventually find the one, but you have to like, you know, kiss some frogs, as we say, before you find
So
it.
why do you think women should get into real estate, like single women? Like buy real estate?
Well, I think that, no, I mean, now the conversation's more open. I think women are starting to become more empowered in their real estate ventures, but like we all grew up being told like, oh, you buy a house once you get married. But I think women should get involved in real estate just like men should get involved in real estate. I think everyone should get involved in real estate. But women need to stop thinking in that like, oh, I need a partner to do this, and maybe switch the avenue of their thinking. And maybe you do, because you're just starting out in your career, need a partner, but that partner doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It can be your best friend, your cousin, your, you know, somebody else. So I think women and people, if you don't have the money yourself to do it, then join up and like get creative about it and just get into the market. Get into the market as soon as you can. And it doesn't matter how high it is, because do you remember when we were trying to buy my house, I was like, this seems really high.
It always does.
And
It
you're
always
like,
feels like such a stretch the first
it's like,
one.
oh my
but
God,
it's
it seems so high. It's so like nobody else is like, this is like a really high offer, and you're like, trust me, it's gonna be fine. You're like, it's
No
just
one
gonna keep
ever
going
regrets buying the house.
up. Never.
Yeah.
That's one thing I keep telling my clients when they have that moment. I'm like, you won't regret buying it. You'll regret not buying it.
So you are into like chakras and spirituality and stuff. Have you done treatments all over your house?
Oh yeah.
What do you do?
I feng shui the shit out of my house.
Like, what do you do?
You walk in and it's like you can feel it, like the energy, you know. Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of like, you know, I use a lot of essential oils and different sages, and actually have a sage garden growing in the back now.
Ooh.
I don't think you've seen that
Nice,
yet.
I have not.
Yeah, I did a whole like wild garden, so it's all California natives, so it's drought friendly, and it used to be just an ugly slab of nothing and ugly dry. I don't know if you remember it, but it was just like a flat, ugly hillside, and now it's like this
Lush.
little like California garden oasis,
Yeah.
and it's wild and
So you
big
grow
and-
your own sage
Oh yeah,
and
Yeah.
burn your own sage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm. And white sage is like, you know, I mean, it's all California, you know, plants that are here, but white sage is like on an endangered list or whatever. So now I've got my own,
Okay.
growing my own. I have a
How about
compost
that?
back there. I compost all my
Do
own.
you have feng shui also, like, is it when you, like, the way your house is furnished?
Yeah. Yes. So there's like different bagua and like how like so
Bagua?
the bagua. It's like a
Do tell.
So like when you're feng shuiing a place, there's 9 different sections that you lay over your home. So there's like, you know, relationships, there's
Money,
career.
right, money is one of them.
Yeah, career, you know,
Health,
helpful
is health
people,
one?
travel. Health is the center of it all. Yeah. And so you lay that over your home, and then based on that is where I'll place certain things. So I'm like, oh, this is in the career part of my home, so I'm going to use, you know, this color and this thing, and then put it in that space to invoke that. And a lot of it's like, you see that thing, like, you know, say it's a poster, like, or a piece of art or something like that, and you put it there with the intention of like, this is going to help my career. And then every time you see it, you're like, that helps my career. So it's like also part of your mentality of how you're placing thoughtfully.
It's like a vision board almost,
It
a little
is,
bit.
Exactly. I love that actual. That's easy to kind of understand it, but it's like using your space as like a vision board of your intentions. And like, I have a lot of crystals and stuff like that. So I have different ones that I'm like, oh, this one goes in the prosperity corner because it's all about abundance. And this one goes, you know, in the health because it's all about health and wellness. And so it's using your space to thoughtfully put everything. So everything in my home has a story. It has a place and usually a reason why it's there. When you come in and you're like, why is this random thing here? Like, well,
Let me tell you.
That's in my creativity corner.
It's a nice icebreaker.
Yeah.
Do you have pets?
I do.
Cute.
I do.
Okay.
My dog.
They're
is
happy
awesome.
in your home too?
Yeah, she's part of the Feng Shui.
There you go.
What corner do you put her in?
All of them. She's like everywhere. All the pillows are hers. She's like, I don't care how much this pillow costs. It's my bed now. She's got free reign of the house.
I think I'll call this episode like I bought a house and I survived, you know, because I think a lot of people are terrified still, even though all the information's out there. Break up with your rentals out there. Like, we have agents who are able to explain this stuff. Everybody's been proven that, you know, it's been proven visibly that you can make some money on this, but people are still afraid.
They're still afraid.
So I'm glad that you came here to tell your story about how you made it, and all the creative things you can do with your house to make it worth your
and it
while.
can make
you know?
you money too.
Yeah.
Like, you can rent out a room. I want to add an ADU below my place, and then, you know, eventually I'll have another separate space, and then I want to buy a second home and then rent out the top and bottom half of my house and then buy a second home. So I'd like to buy more properties and start kind of, you know,
building an empire.
Yeah.
I love it.
Isn't it kind of addictive once you sign that first loan? What do I buy next?
You're like, it's
what can we
good.
do?
Yeah, it's like, it just opens up so many different like ideas and pathways, and then you're like, oh, well, let's buy a house together. You want it?
Sure.
Okay.
We need to buy something together, like a vacation something.
Yeah, vacation.
Like a compound.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah. Didn't you do that? Did you?
I bought a vacation house in Big Bear.
Yeah.
But I've sold it since.
Yeah. I mean, you're always like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, you know, moving money around.
Yeah.
Got robbed by a contractor. That was my reason for
Oh boy.
selling that one. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Lots of fun stories I have to tell.
And what about your house? I mean, you're new a homeowner as well. Let's hear about that.
There's not much to say about that except that it took 2 years to finish, and it's been a process, and now I'm trying to figure out what to do with it.
So you guys did a full gut?
Yeah, it was gut and addition, and it was ridiculous. Now I recommend to far less people to do their own, to do the renovation. Now I'm like, buy the flip and do your thing, just where you can do it. But you know, it's a process, especially in LA because of the bureaucracy of the city and the cost of materials and the cost of the contractors and the availability of them. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
I don't think I realized you did an add-on too. Wow.
It was a lot. It was a
You
lot.
know what she's saying is so true though about the contractors and the timeline and all that thing. It is so hard to find accountable contractors. It's like, I have clients who are like, why they don't believe that flippers should make the money that flippers make. Like, they don't believe the flippers have earned that.
What?
Like, they're like, what did he buy it for? Okay, now I'm gonna like they're supposed to just like break even. And it's like, if you haven't been through that process, you don't understand the value of the time, the frustration, the change orders, but you know, everything that
Carrying
costs
the
you the time.
loan.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
responsibility.
carrying the loan. It's like they might have an extra $150,000 in loan fees once
Yeah.
they're done with
Yeah.
it. You know, that the buyer's not accounting for.
Yeah.
That is my
Crazy.
pet peeve when people try to, how much did they put into it? What did they buy it for? Well, maybe we can offer. No, that's not how this works. That is not how this works.
Well, it sounds like you have a whole new perspective now.
Oh my God. Honestly, total game changer. But I'm thankful for it because now I ask questions to people that I didn't ask before whenever recommending that. Like, what's your schedule like?
Yeah. Do you have a job?
Yeah.
Do you have cash?
Do you have cash? Yeah. Like, can you stay in your rental for a certain amount of time while you're doing this project? Like, what's your scenario? Because it might not be the right fit for you to take on something. Like buying the flip might make more sense. And for some people, it's like they have more flexibility. They have a dad who's a contractor or like whatever. You know what I mean? And it's like, all right, well, in that case,
Yeah.
it's easier. But yeah, it's nothing to be fucked with if you don't have the stomach for it. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Whew, yeah.
I did one also, and now it's coming around to the time when things are starting to break. I'm like, oh God. It's like every 5 minutes, like the heater's not working. The door, we had $12,000 termite treatment done when I got the house, and now the last time I went there, I can see the termites have come back. Like, I'm just like, it's like it never stops,
Yeah.
But on the flip side, you have this thing that's just like, I think I bought that thing for I want to say 1.2, and now it's worth 2.
Yeah.
So it's not for nothing. I mean,
yeah.
you want to keep,
That's
your
the benefit.
your property
I bought
is
mine
like,
for my purchase price, believe it or not. This was like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, was like $535.
yeah, and that
Insane.
thing's worth so much more.
Yeah. Now with the addition, it's probably more like a 1.3, 1.4
Crazy.
space. Yeah, but
amazing.
but it was a process. It's like
Yeah.
there is payoff, but not without
Pain.
a lot of pain.
So you said you were not sure what you're going to do. Are you not moving in? Are you going to sell it?
Definitely not selling it. No,
Okay.
for sure not. I'm going to be one of those people who's like, don't knock on my door.
You're die here! Go away! This way.
I have an agent.
I'm a local, even though
You
I'm
hear
not
that thing
local.
behind the door.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna have my blinds with the one hole in it and the gun in it.
Oh no! Do not go knocking on her door.
Seriously, I need a little announcement thing on the end. Whenever people walk on the, oh my God, I saw the funniest video. It was like how someone programmed Alexa to deter break-ins. Okay. And so it's like if let's say someone breaks in, it's like all the lights, like the colored lights turn to red, and it's like you have now activated and then something, you have now activated like DEFCON 3 or I don't know, something like that. And then it's like you have 3 seconds before you are annihilated, and then it's like 3, 2, and then things are going off, and it's like a whole thing. It's so funny.
That's genius.
It's so
That is
funny.
really
Oh my
smart.
God, that's so smart.
Make
It's
Alexa
hilarious.
work for us.
I
better.
Yeah,
love that.
exactly.
Well, it's funny because the city of Los Angeles has really competing objectives when it comes to ADUs and how you use your property. So on one hand, there's a housing shortage, so they've incentivized there are over-the-counter ADU plans and stuff to make it easier for people to convert their garages.
Yes.
So that is cool, great. That saves a big step for a lot of people. You have to use their design if that's what you're going to do. But at least for people who aren't really designers or don't really care, it gets the job done, But then at the other hand, it's like the tenants' rights rules are also very stringent, and the Airbnb rules are kind of restrictive too. So, I definitely would say if you're going to do using real estate, if you're going to build your ADU and that kind of thing, you should be aware of those things, research the laws, make sure you understand how things are rolling so you can do the best use for your property.
Yeah.
Because it's changing really fast. Things keep changing. Rules
Yeah.
keep changing.
They do.
But then there are things outside of, you can buy outside of the city of Los Angeles. You can buy in other counties. You can buy, California state law has certain things now too, but definitely you have to make sure that if you're going to do real estate with an investment kind of mind, that you're doing your research, because the laws seem to be changing a lot faster than fast.
Well, and that's why you have someone like you guys. Because
That's
you
true.
guys
We
always
do
know
keep on
what
top of things.
what the like latest and greatest is. And so like I would never do or even think about doing anything without consulting you and talking to you about it first.
Thank you. I
course.
appreciate
I
that.
don't know. I mean, like, by the way, our 10-year anniversary is coming up.
Ooh.
Our 10-year anniversary of knowing each other?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you are so
Isn't
funny.
that crazy?
Maybe we should try to make a new reality television show.
I think so.
It's about
I think
time.
that's a good
Let's do it.
anniversary present.
I love that.
Can you make some calls?
Yeah, make a few calls. I know you have some pull now. Don't you have a production deal or something? Let's go.
We can't talk?
I don't like
Can't talk
talking
about that.
I don't like talking about myself.
You're talking about
That
our
way.
business right now. It's our business you're talking about.
Well, you're sitting on a hot seat, so.
Any other advice that you would give to somebody, now that you've been through this process and you've used Break Up With Your Rental as a guide / you inspired it and you are quoted in it. But any other guidance as we wrap up?
I think I would tell people like if you want to own a home and that's something that like lives in your heart and like you have that desire, like open up the door to that, what that possibility looks like for you, instead of thinking like I did, which was like, oh, I'll never be able to afford to buy a home in Los Angeles, like I'll never be able to do X, Y, or Z, and like take that recording out of your head and go, okay, well, you know what are my possibilities of owning a home? What do I have to do in order to do that? And so I think just changing that loop in your head and go, you know what, I can own a home in LA, but what's the pathway to make that happen for me? And then that will start to emerge for you. So I think that's my greatest advice to people is like, stop telling yourself what you think and what other people tell you is possible, because, I have multiple friends that all have homes now too, that thought the same way I did until I sat down and said, actually, you can own a home. Here's how you do it. You have to change your mentality and like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna get a little woo-woo, but yeah, law of attraction's a real thing. Mm-hmm. And if you aren't putting it out there, you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna magically buy a house just because you have to open the door. You have to go, okay, well, I have IRAs that I've been, paying into since I was, in my 20s or whatever. You can use that money to help you buy a house. Like, people don't know these things because people don't tell you. No one's out there like trying to help you buy a house. So, there's other avenues to get there. And then I think also like just getting creative about it. Partnering up, friends, family, whatever, doing a co-loan,
Co-signer,
like
yeah.
co-signing,
Mm-hmm.
like there's if it's a desire for you, it's in your heart, it's something you want, you can absolutely have it. There is no reason why you can't. And so that I think is what, why I wanted to do this, because if I can inspire one person to like change their mindset and do this and like get to have this great experience that I get to have and like go out and like have your wild garden and whatever, and like every morning I go down there and I sit and I'm like send like gratitude. I always send you guys gratitude, and just to get to live this life that I didn't think I could. And I was like stuck in my little apartment in Hollywood, just so happy, And
Isn't
now
that
I'm
funny?
like,
Yeah. And you realize you deserve it too.
absolutely.
That adds something. I thought you were going to say, what would Madonna do?
I mean, she's got plenty of houses.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't let any doubt hold her back. Is what I'm saying. This lady
Never.
won't let any doubt hold her back. So.
Never. She's like, psh. But that's the thing, and that's like, and even just like tying it back to those A-list celebrities who are just flowing in life, and they're like, all the doors open for them. Like, there's no reason why we can't be that too, And it's just has to do with how we approach our life, and how are we gonna like go flow against the current? Are we gonna constantly float, try to, paddle upstream? Like, that's what people do. They're always upstream. Like, get in the boat and grab a beer and just kick back and like let the river take you.
I love that there's beer in this boat.
Of course there is. Or wine, probably wine for me, but whatever you guys.
We're all
want,
in that
but-
boat.
Yeah.
I love that.
And just let it go. And but you have to get in the boat and open your beer. But you have to get in the boat to go downriver and stop fighting everything and just see where it goes. Open up the door.
That's an amazing way to wrap this segment. So, yay. Thank you so much for joining
Thank you guys
us.
for
Oh
having
my
me.
God,
I
such a
love you guys.
pleasure
Great.
to hear
I
your story.
appreciate you guys so much, and I'll keep sending you more clients constantly.
Okay, we'll take them. We'll take them.
Always, always, always. You guys are the best.
All right, we'll see you next time on Under All Is the Land.
Bye.
Add a couple notches to your belt. Under all is